How many times have you built a website, maybe even created a custom loop, and found yourself in the same kind of problem as this? You've got a bunch of text that you want to have control over so you don't get all kind of weird shapes and sizes, and you can see different lengths. Now, we could always go to the time and effort of using the excerpt function, but even that has limitations. So for this example, we're going to be using a pretty nifty little CSS clamp trick that allows us to control the specific number of lines we want to display. Normally, you'd have the number of letters or words, which can still end up with different sized lines. Let's go ahead and take a look at how it works. Now, I'm going to use Bricks Builder for this, but you can use whatever you want. The principle is basically the same. As long as you can apply a custom CSS class to the element that you want, in this example, we've got the post content, you can use this particular function. Okay, so I've got the post content selected, and that's going to show this main area here. So what we're going to do is we're going to apply a custom class to this. So all we need to do is come over to the options, click, and we're going to add a new class in. We're going to call this Truncate, but you can call it whatever you want. We'll hit enter or return, and that now has created a global class. So I can use this on any template, any page I want, where I want this particular function to operate. Now what we're going to do is we've applied that to the post content. We're going to come down to our CSS. So we're going to start off with the actual class that we've just created, which is Truncate. And then we're going to just open and close our curly brackets. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in this little bit of code, which will be linked in the description below. Now, basically what this is going to do, and this covers various different browsers like Chrome, Safari, and so on. So you're covered for most modern browsers. Some older browsers may not work as you expect, so you may want to check those out if you are dealing with legacy browsers. But basically what this is doing is saying use the line clamp function, which you can see here, and then set the number of lines that you want to display. So you can see underneath we've also got how it's going to control this. It's using the overflow of hidden and the orientation of vertical. It's just how it's going to hide that additional content. So if we now take a look at our first example, which is the kind of template, now we're seeing only 3 lines. Doesn't matter how much information's in it, only 3 lines are going to show up. Want a bit more? No problem. We'll set it to 5, and we now have 5 lines. Let's go ahead and save this. Come over to our front end and refresh. And now you can see we have perfectly aligned content with 5 lines of content inside. And that's a really simple basic example, but you can go an awful lot further. So let me give you one more example. You may have different layouts you want to work with based upon different resolutions for mobile, tablets, and for desktop. Well, you can use media queries to easily manage how much content is going to be displayed upon those different breakpoints. Let me show you. Let's go ahead and edit our content inside our CSS definition. Let's take a quick look at the code I've just pasted in. The first definition is still exactly the same. When we're on desktop or tablet in this example, make sure you have 5 lines of content. However, if we drop below 767 pixels, this will then change it to 2 lines of content. Let's go and save this. Let's jump over to our test page and refresh. And you can see while we're on desktop, we've still got that 5 lines of content. But as we make this smaller and we hit that breakpoint, you can see now that drops down to 2 lines of content. Go outside that, back up to 5 lines, go below, down to 2 lines. So we can use media queries and multiple media queries to easily handle the whole resizing and scaling of the content we want to display. And this really is just the beginning of what you can do with the line clamp function. But for me, this really does solve a bit of an issue that I've had in the past where there's very different amount of content. You could use this on headings. So if you had a client that may put lots of big headings in and that could cause problems with your alignment and your layouts and so on, you could easily apply this to the heading section, set it to 1 line, and then anything that goes below that will drop off and be hidden. Lots of use cases, and let me know in the comment section how you may use this if this has opened up your eyes to what you can do with the line clamp function. As always, all applicable links to the article covering all of this with the code and everything else is in the description down below. Check that out for yourself. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts. Until next time, take care.